Hey, this is Timothy Theory, and you're listening to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to That Wrestling Podcast, and man, do we have a special show for you guys today. We're going to count down our top 10 WWE gimmicks of all time, and I can't wait to do this. You ready to hop into it, Clyde?
I'm ready to get it in, but Vince Russo, know this. Me and Cornette and Dave, we're going to come over to your house and we'll sort you out, brother.
That's right, Russo. We are coming for you, brother. I love it. I love it. You're bringing the energy today, man. What did you do differently this morning?
Well, I thought a lot about what we were going to do to Vince Russo, but it's complete fabrication. Please don't sue us or feel threatened by us.
That's right, Russo.
Not a lot, brother. Sitting around thinking about this list.
That's right. I wonder who's going to make our list. And Russo, you're not on it. We're just playing around. You know we love you. All right, so without, I guess tinkering around all day, let's hop into this, dude. It was very tough to narrow this down to 10. I mean, there's all kinds of awesome gimmicks throughout the history of the WWE. I mean, you can go as far back as its inception, to really see some cool gimmicks.
Yeah, since the very beginning. One of the oldest gimmicks maybe ever in pro wrestling would probably be Gorgeous George.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, man. And then you had, of course, the now I'm drawing a blank, of course, yeah, but the superstar Billy Grahams and people like that,
Yeah, it goes on and on. The Missing Link, there's a good one from back in the day.
Yeah, we're talking old school, brother. But just for this list, it was hard to narrow it down, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Let us know if you agree, disagree in the comments. Of course, we love the feedback. So here we go. Number 10, we got Demolition. How could you not have these guys on like the best gimmick list of all time? I mean, it's straight up something out of a movie, walking down to the ring. What do you think, brother?
Oh, I loved it, man. Meat and potatoes wrestling, the acts, the smash, the theme song, all that. I wasn't a big fan of later on when they added Crush. I like the original Demolition, and really enjoyed when they had Fuji with them, man, the devious one.
Yeah, he even added just another element to the gimmick, within it. And it's almost hard not to think of, like, these gimmicks that change the face of wrestling and not include Demolition,
Yeah, just, man, when that music would hit and those guys came to the ring, you knew business was going to pick up, brother.
That's right, dude. And, almost like it's kind of hard to have them hire at the same time, though, because, there really was a knockoff of, the Road Warriors at the time, in my opinion. But the gimmick was still so good that it ran strong for years. And, of course, they went on to break records and, sell tickets everywhere they went. So it really wasn't as big of a deal, ripping off the Road Warriors. But there's no way in heck you could have them ahead of the Road Warriors, right?
I actually would, but, I have such strong WWF old school colors, man. I know.
You're going to make us end the damn show right now, brother. All right, who do we have at number 9?
Oh, yes. We got a manager, Paul Bearer, Percy Pringles. I mean, I always thought, man, he was the perfect varnish for the Undertaker. Just was a memorable gimmick, and for a shoot, he was an actual Paul Bearer in real life. So that's kind of interesting there.
Oh wow! How did I not know that little fact about Paul Bearer? How did I not know that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and another cool thing about Paul Bearer, man, I will say this: in that era, there was no other manager that I was more excited to see. Like, I genuinely got excited, like, if Paul Bearer was coming out, of course, because you would think there was a chance you would see The Undertaker, too, but sometimes you didn't. It was pretty cool,
Yeah, there was those times, some of the best memories I have in some of these gimmick wrestlers, when he would come down with Kane the time, and my favorite one ever was Undertaker been the American Badass for a while, and then he left. And he came back, and the first thing you heard was Paul Bearer's voice at WrestleMania, and then he come down the ring. It was just awesome, man. The guy was a master of his craft, one of the greatest wrestling managers of all time.
He was, man, and he's right there in the mix with all those cool gimmick casket matches and stuff, man, and just things that just couldn't be replicated to this day that they pulled off, man.
Yeah.
Number 8, we're going with another staple of the WWF over the years, Goldust. What do you think about Goldust, man? A really cool gimmick. I mean, maybe never got quite as hot as some of these other guys on the list, but definitely a long, sustained run, and really just a different kind of character. And I remember at one time, I think Dustin said that shortly into this gimmick that he was even willing to get breast implants to play it up even more.
Yeah, was willing to do whatever for his art. I mean, that's some dedication there. Another interesting thing about the Gold Dust, when that first came out, man, that was really controversial. It was one of those gimmicks that caught a lot of people's attention in all kinds of different ways. It brought out feelings and emotion. I mean, it was, and now you look at it and it's just timeless, man. He took it to a comedy role later on.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. But I mean, what, at least close to 20 years, I would say that had a run. I mean, longer than 20 years, was it? 20 plus years? I mean, how long did Goldust do it, baby?
I want to say it was over 20 years, man. I mean, he came and went. He wasn't always in WWF, WWE, but it seemed like he was Goldust the majority of his stay with the company.
Yeah, Goldust debuted on October 22nd, 1995. I mean, the better part of 25 years, brother.
Yeah, and it can still go, man, as you see on AEW. Amazing wrestler, and it's been a pleasure watching him do his craft.
Absolutely, right there. Well-deserved number 8, Goldust. And let's go ahead and move along, brother. Who do you have at number 7?
Well, we're going old school back, even before Goldust here. We're going with George the Animal Steel, eating the turnbuckles, you know, saving Miss Elizabeth. That one pops in my head, the feud he had with Macho Man Randy Savage, and just everything about him, man. He was a really cool gimmick.
Yeah, that was definitely, like, of course, for us, like the highlight of George Animal Steel's career, when he just played such a pivotal role in that feud that was going on there. He even intervened. It cost Savage the match at WrestleMania 3, by God, you know?
Yeah. It's just in my head, he's just that classic old school wrestling, man. George the Animal Steel. I'm sitting there, you know, we're always on these action figures with LJNs popping in my head.
Oh, baby, yeah. What a cool LJN with that bright green tongue, man. And just what a cool gimmick. You can never forget that gorilla-like gimmick that he pulled off so well and for so many years.
Yeah, I remember he also had that stuffed animal Mine. I think he called it Mine, that he used to have a relationship with. That was hilarious.
Yeah, what a creepy character. It almost kind of put off like a carnival type vibe, dude. Like almost like a precursor to some of this stuff that came later, you know?
Yeah, the green tongue and the hair and the sounds and the obsession with Miss Elizabeth. I remember watching it and thinking, I should probably be cheering for George the Animal Steel, but I just like Macho Man so much. I was like, man, you got to get this dude away from Elizabeth.
I thought the same thing, dude. Like, what is he doing out there? But I was always, like, just infatuated with George the Animal Steel, though. Cannot lie, brother.
Yeah, he was one of the characters that really popped off the screen.
All right, number 6, man, we got to go with the Road Warriors right here. Legion of Doom, baby. How can you not include this gimmick in a list of the best of all time? I mean, these guys, for the better part of 3 decades, just out there doing their thing, brother. And, I mean, I've never heard a pop like I did when they made their WWF debut.
Yeah, Road Warrior, Legion of Doom pop, man. I believe it was talking about gimmick wrestlers. Jack the Snake Roberts is the one that coined the Legion of Doom. He would say it kind of, you know, playing around that we're headed back to the Legion of Doom, but they ended up using it. And right there in my head with Demolition, man, when they came to the ring, you knew it wasn't going to be pretty for their opponents.
That's right, and that was a good little nod to Jake there, brother. And another thing you can't help but think of when you think about Legion of Doom is like, it's almost like what they left on the table with everything they did, you know, because, of course, you know, Hawk's downfall is well documented at this point, and it's almost like, wow, look what they did, but man, what could have been? You know what I mean? I kind of compare them to like Shaq in a way. It's like, man, look what Shaq did in his NBA career. But if Shaq was in top physical condition throughout his NBA career, what could Shaq have done? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it would have been the same, just unstoppable, man.
Right.
Those guys were as popular as any singles wrestler in some scenarios. I mean, like we said earlier, they call it in the wrestling business, I believe it's the Road Warrior pop, the Legion of Doom pop, probably depends on the age group.
Yeah, definitely, man. And it's just like, I love Legion of Doom, love talking about them, love watching their old matches, man. But it's just, part of it kind of hurts me seeing it, you know, because I just like, man, these guys could have literally been number 1 on this list. You know what I mean? Like, easily, dude. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they were special for sure.
Absolutely, brother. All right, I'll stop dropping the likes now. Here we go. Number 5, who you got, man?
we got Uzi, Machismo, Razor Ramon, one of the ones from the 90s, that new generation, I think they coined it.
Say
really
hello to the
head.
bad guy, right?
Man, something else. What a character. It was the brainchild of Scott Hall. Went into Vince McMahon's office and said, "Have you ever seen the movie Scarface?" And of course, Vince doesn't have time to watch movies. And he said, "No," and he sewed him on the gimmick right there, and the rest was history. A Hall of Fame career as Razor Ramon.
Absolutely was. Well said there, brother, because shortly after that, they just developed the character for a little while, too. They didn't rush it. I like that about it at the time. They developed the character, released a series of vignettes over a couple months, and really got the crowd intrigued about, who is this Razor Ramon character? And, of course, Hall had the look and skill to pull it off perfectly,
Yeah, I remember him in the ring with another one of the members of our list here, him and Goldust. They had a really great feud, and his matches with Bret Hart were amazing, and of course, we all know he would go on to WCW and change wrestling forever with a couple other guys.
Yeah, shortly after dropping that IC title to Goldust. No, he dropped it to Goldust, then won it, I think, from Dean Douglas for the last time. But yeah, shortly after that, he was out, brother.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, man, then they started merging through the crowd. And yeah, but that Razor Ramon character, too, man, is another one where you're kind of like, okay, what if Hall had not been suspended in late 1995 and then gone on to sign with WCW? Of course, he claims he signed with WCW because he was getting days off, which I don't blame him, and that may be the ultimate reason why he did. But, what if him and WWF would have worked this out? Do you think Razor Ramon would have ever been the WWF champion?
Oh, yeah, I guarantee you it was a matter of time. He was having great matches with, all the top guys. Yeah, I think it would have just been a matter of time.
Yeah, I think... I don't think so. I don't think he would have, dude, unfortunately. I think that Vince was kind of ready to turn the page at this point anyway, dude. Like, he was already looking into the future. He was already, in his mind, he was already planning up all these Stone Codes, Rocks, and Mankinds, I think.
Fair enough. You got Russo over there with you. I'm coming.
Russo is in the house today. At least one Vince showed up. McMahon's not even giving us coffee anymore, brother.
Yeah, I heard. I'm trying to get a sign with AEW. We'll see what happens.
Speaking of somebody who's not signed with AEW, somebody who I don't see jumping ship anytime soon, at number 4, we're going to go with a current wrestler. I like The Fiend right here, dude. This guy is a new gimmick, still fresh, but I have not seen any gimmick this hot this early, ever, I don't think, in the history of that. Maybe The Undertaker, but aside from that.
Yeah, it couldn't have happened to a better guy either, man. This guy, from Husky Harris to Bray Wyatt, the cult leader, to what he's doing now, it just shows the range of acting skills that sometimes wrestlers don't get credit for being such great actors. But you look at The Rock, and the acting skills on this guy are amazing, and for his size, he moves around with such grace, and the gimmick is just cool, man. It's like classic horror movie with a little bit of Slipknot, maybe.
Oh,
it kind of reminds me of Slipknot.
It is really cool, dude, and it's hard to really narrow this list down. You got guys like the Demon King, Finn Balor, of course, you could have, also had on the list. But as hot as Finn was, even at his peak, man, I still don't see people clamoring for him like they do The Fiend. And I think the WWF played this perfectly also in that they developed the character slowly. They released a series of vignettes. They built it up with this Firefly Funhouse for a period of, 3 to 4 months before you ever seen The Fiend take the ring. And it just well played, man. And it's unfolded to a perfect storm of, everybody's in a frenzy for The Fiend. They want more, baby. Yeah,
it's great art. It's great acting. It's great merchandising. Every one of these characters on the Firefly Funhouse has been made into merchandise. It's a win-win for everybody involved with this character.
It is a win-win, and it also gives Bray like a chance to kind of have almost like 2 records, because I don't see The Fiend losing any matches, but he can come out as Bray Wyatt and lose to Braun Strowman and not really lose any standing, because if he comes out as The Fiend, he's going to dominate. It's kind of like the Finn Balor gimmick, and when he switches to the Demon, it's perfect because it's hard to beat the guy down too much, even if they lose a few matches as Bray Wyatt, let's say, because when he comes out as The Fiend, he's ready to kick some ass.
Yeah. A while back, he lost as just regular old Bray Wyatt, and I remember thinking, well, he's not done with Braun yet. I see him getting the title back eventually.
As much as I love Braun, and I want to see Braun run with this title for a while, I see him breaking up the Fiend gimmick and absolutely taking that championship from Braun at some point in the near future.
Yeah, those two do a lot of great work together. I believe in real life. I want to say Braun is godfather to Bernie's child, if I'm correct.
Oh, wow. So
That's kind of an interesting tidbit there.
Speaking of great work, I'm sure the gentleman you have at number 3 has done a lot in his career. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who it is, baby?
Mick Foley. Mankind.
At number 3? At number 3.
No. Oh, good Lord. We messed it up. Kane.
You got Kane at number 3.
We got Kane at number 3.
All right, why do you have
Gotta be Kane.
Tell us why it's Kane, brother.
Why Kane?
Why Kane? Why do you like the mayor of Knox County at number 3?
I think when he first come in, when it was fresh at the Hell in the Cell, and he come in, he ripped the cage, and he had Paul Bearer with him, and the whole background story of him, and he looked like Jason Voorhees as a wrestler to me. And I know they made a mint off all the masks and everything else they've made of him. He's just an amazing character, and pretty good horror movie he had too. That was it, See No Evil.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And when we're talking about longevity too, I mean, this dude has been with the WWF for well over 25 years at this point, and he's still out there doing his thing from time to time, brother. And I mean, a decorated career that spanned this long. How can you not have Kane this high on the list? And it's almost a tragedy to have him even at number 3 when you think about it.
Yeah, and he's another guy that scratched and clawed his way all the way to the top. You know, he was the Christmas creature one time here in Louisville, and he played the dentist Isaac Yankem, Jerry Lawler's dentist. He was also the fake Diesel.
Yeah, but he wasn't. But he
never gave up and kept trying.
None of those gimmicks will be remembered like Kane, brother. I mean, one-time ECW champion, WCW Tag Team Champion, World Heavyweight Champion, the WWF Championship, the Hardcore Championship, Intercontinental Championship. He's done it all, brother. You know, I mean, wow, what a gimmick.
Yeah, he's done pretty good at that Royal Rumble too. I know he's thrown out a fair share of people there.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Won it all, brother. I mean, even won Money in the Bank before. I mean, what has Kane not done?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be Kane.
Kane at number 3, dude. Cannot argue with that. Moving along to number 2. I think you might have spoiled this a little bit, but that's okay. It's hard not to have Mankind right here. Talk about a guy that kind of helped put the WWF on his back for a period of time when they was really struggling and the ratings war against WCW. And, man, this gimmick came out hotter than ever.
Oh, yeah, it was special. I believe almost to the exact. It was like that instant karma. Eric Bischoff told Tony Schiavone to give away the results that Mankind had just won the WWF World Championship over on Raw. And at that point, the ratings war switched. Basically, this dude's like the Hannibal Lecter of wrestling, man. Probably the most intelligent wrestler maybe ever. He's wrote best-selling books, does comedy tours. I've met him. He's a really, really sweet guy.
Really awesome guy, man, and it's really cool demeanor, and has, maybe 2 or 3 of the most memorable spots in wrestling history.
Yeah, definitely the Hell in the Cell, man. As soon as you mention it, I'm sure any real wrestling fan sees the vision of him getting thrown off the top and then through, and then he just kept going. I mean, this dude might also be the most durable wrestler of all time.
He's the toughest son of a bitch I've ever seen.
Maybe, he might be right up there. Some of his matches with Terry Funk and just unbelievable, man. I've seen him have great matches with Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. I mean, you pretty much name them, and this guy was something else,
And also, as big as the
shout out to my wife. That's one of her favorite wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, shout out to Marlena. We know you're listening, baby. Hey, and as big as Mankind was, at that time, though, it's crazy to think that, as big as Austin and The Rock was, too, that, like you said, the ratings switched over, though, when Mankind took that championship. That was almost like the turning point in the war, brother,
Yeah, they never really looked back, man. It was like, I think Schiavone said that'll put a lot of butts in the seat, and it actually did. They started doing record business. Of course, Stone Cold and the rest of the cast had a lot to do with it also. But,
yeah, Vince himself, too. You can't underestimate what Mr. McMahon did during that time as a character.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. I don't think anybody maybe has ever outworked that dude in the history of the planet Earth.
Yeah, it's true, man. But Mankind, number 2, how can you not have him there? Like I said, the face of the wrestling industry there for a little while. Really helped to turn the tide in the WCW versus WWF wars at the time. And right there, Mankind, number 2. Who do we have at number 1, brother?
Well, I don't even know if it's arguable, man. Some people probably would argue it, but I just can't do it. I gotta give it to the Undertaker, man. You know, from 1990 to he's contemplating wrestling to this day, and they got this beautifully well done documentary series on WWE. This guy's as relevant as he's ever been, and he evolved the character slowly, you know, here and there over the years. And of course, he had Paul Bearer to work with. He had Kane. He had Mankind. Some of these people that are in our list, they all kind of remind me of that same special era of wrestling.
Just perfect, demonic, cartoonish type characters that just got over because of the look and unbelievable skill of these people that played them, you know?
Yeah, I remember when he debuted in 1990, there were kids in the crowd that they were actually terrified, and then he did what he did to Hulk Hogan, and I was actually a fan. I just thought it was a really cool gimmick, but I always enjoyed horror movies probably way before I should have been watching them.
Hey, man, talk about a run. You was not lying, dude. November 19th, 1990, The Undertaker makes his debut on a taping of Superstars. And, man, so November 19th of this year, it'll be 30 years he's been with the company.
Yeah, it's amazing, man, and hopefully he's still got one or two good matches, maybe even more. We'll have to see what happens.
I mean, that gimmick is so good, the Undertaker gimmick, that it included two things on our top 10 list between the Undertaker and Paul Bearer and Kane. You know, all that was just it's so hard not to have that right there in the middle of all this.
I almost feel like you can throw Mankind in there with him too.
Well, he is, yeah, for sure. I mean, look,
I
that's our
don't
top
know
three,
if
brother.
all three of those guys ever teamed up. I know Kane and Undertaker did, of course. And,
Right, Paul Bearer was.
But I don't know if all three of them, that would have been something.
I know, but yeah, like you said, just between that feud, basically, there's 4 of our top 10. I mean, that was the era of gimmick wrestling, and of course, it's making somewhat of a renaissance now with the Fiend and the Demon King and some of the stuff they're doing nowadays. But man, if they can recapture this, they would really be on something.
We even got Chris Foley back. You know, he's a wrestler.
Big Otis, baby. I don't know if you include that as a gimmick.
Big Otis.
I think he's just playing himself. That guy just seems like he loves life.
Team Otis.
Team Otis. All right, man, so there's our list, dude. I think overall it's a pretty solid list. I'm going to go ahead and count it down real quick. We had Demolition at number 10, Paul Bearer at number 9, Goldust at number 8, George the Animal Steel at number 7, Legion of Doom number 6, Razor Ramon 5, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt at number 4, Kane at number 3, Mankind at 2, and The Undertaker at number 1. How can you argue with that, brother? Got any honorable mentions?
Honorable mentions, oh Lord, there's so many. You know, Kamala, the Uganda Giant. You know,
Doink the Clown.
Man, Doink the Clown. There's just so many. I mean, esteemed.
Finn Balor, the Demon King.
Yeah, I'm surprised we left him off the list, man. I'm gonna be a little bit scared tonight when I go to bed.
Yeah, just
underneath the bed.
just leave that Scooby-Doo nightlight plugged in, brother. You'll be all right.
Good idea. I also got an Ultimate Warrior nightlight. I might use that.
You might use that. I bet he could keep a Demon King away. There's not too many people that could, but I'm pretty sure that would work, brother.
Yeah,
there's so many honorable mentions. So many honorable mentions,
yeah,
man.
It goes on and on and on, man. The world is a gimmick, baby.
That's right, brother. I want to give you an honorable mention. Shout out to your Randy Orton tights. Shout out to those Randy Orton tights, brother. How they doing?
They're not good, man. They're still on the wall. I'm never going to be able to fit into those, no matter how much cardio I do, brother.
Yeah, just keep working out, brother. You'll get it down. You'll get it down. Are you got any closing thoughts before we hop out today? Anything else you want to say to Vince Russo?
Well, Russo, me and Dave and Courtney, no, he'll send us a letter. I've heard we don't even want to miss that guy.
No,
Very dangerous.
We love you, Vince Russo. Yeah, thanks so much, everybody, for listening today. We appreciate it. Check us out on the web, WrestlingZoo.com, ThatWrestlingPodcast.com. Always updated with all kinds of crazy madness from around the wrestling world. You never know what you're going to find on there. And we're so sorry to Enzo Amore. We did not have time to get you on today, but we will next week. And you got anything else you want to say, brother?
Everybody out there that listens, thanks. Hit the like, hit the dislike, share it, troll us. I mean, do something. Over punch Dave in the face. Get it on video.
We'll put that on the intro. Hey, thanks so much for listening, everybody. We'll catch you guys on the next one.